Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
The Leafs blew Clark's ticket. Was it yesterday? But no, because I'm watching FAU. FAU plays, as you all know, just down the street from my place in Boca Raton, Florida, where I spend half the year. I'm thinking the Owls are going to win this Final Four game Saturday night. They were winning all game. Were you watching, Moose? And Lamont Butler made a jumper at the buzzer, sending San Diego State to their national championship game tonight with a 72-71 win over fellow mid-major Florida Atlantic in the Final Four on Saturday night. If you didn't see it, I can't even explain to you how soul-crushing that was. Just as an Owls fan, it reminded me of the 13th man here in Calgary in the Grey Cup when we lost the Grey Cup on the last play of the game. That's my bad beat. What's yours?
That's pretty good. I was watching that game, and, you know, that's just a soul-crushing loss, period. Mine goes back to last week. I was sitting on a hockey one. It was the Rangers and Blue Jackets, and I saw a bettor in New York, how you can manipulate the lines, picked exactly a 5-2 win, and had a decent amount of money on it, too, to pick the Rangers to beat the Blue Jackets 5-2. But with, like, 4 minutes left, the Blue Jackets pulled their goalie, and the Rangers scored to make it 6-2, busting this guy's once in a shot at the perfect score, 5-2. How often do we see teams pull their goalie with 4 minutes left? Not very often, especially down 3 goals. But it happened, busted the guy's bet, and he went on to lose. That was a tough, bad beat.
You seem not surprised the Pats are up 2-0 on Saskatoon.
No, you know, I watched a week ago Friday in Saskatoon. 15,000 people in the building. And we were all sitting there, Connor Bedard is making plays in front of these guys. And these guys are going, did you see that? Did you see that? He put that puck right through that seam. Maybe he made that play. Well, that's Connor Bedard, right?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yes, it is. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. What's it, Wednesday? It's already been a long week and a long morning. We're live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination. That's one half of the show. Joining us from sunny, I think, Palm Springs, California, is the co-host of the program, Darren Moose DuPont. Hey, Moose, give me a weather update, if you don't mind. What is going on in sunny Palm Springs, California, please?
Sunny and 19 degrees. This is today, so not bad. It's not the 30s you get in Florida all the time, but it'll suffice. Good so far.
That is plus 19 Celsius, y'all. Not Fahrenheit, just so you know. I will, for the rest of my life, I have vowed to stay on the Celsius and probably kilometer metric system for the rest of my life. So that's your weather report. This isn't the Weather Channel. We got some great guests coming up today. Mark Stiles joining us, the longtime voice of the Calgary Hitmen and former host of Calgary Flames television broadcast. Mark Stiles is going to be down here for an hour, beginning at the bottom of the hour. And Robin Brownlee from OilersNation.com covered the Oilers for many, many years with the Edmonton Sun. Robin Brownlee is going to be joining us to talk about the wagon that is the Edmonton Oilers. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please? Director Jordan, we'll jump right into...
Hoorah!
Yahoo! Yeah, thank you so much. Listen, I will say this. Try and keep my thoughts together as much as I can. I've been getting complaints from people that there's too much Calgary talk on the air, and I'm like, on this show, I'm like, hello, we're in Calgary, so what do you want? I mean, it would please me if we went to Edmonton and did some shows, but this is the place, this is the city that's been so great. And I sit there and I think, Darren, what did I tell you guys in the morning meeting today? They don't care about us in Toronto. It's all Leafs on TSN. So should we care? Listen, I get it. I hear the complaints. The good part is that they're listening. But the fact of the matter, and, you get too many Flames on there. Well, again, we're in Calgary. So I don't know what you want. If you want us to have the stars and the greats and the legends and the alum of your team on, bring us out there. So anyways, I don't feel bad about it. I'm just telling you that, again, the good news is that they're watching. Now, to the NHL last night, there's fans of every team that watch this show, so I'm going to try and keep everybody happy. But, Darren, you know what happens when you try to keep everybody happy. Do you know?
That's right. You make nobody happy.
Exactly. So let's make ourselves happy. Woo! I just talked myself into feeling better. Right, Riley? All right. Andreas Athanasiou scored twice, including the go-ahead goal in the third period as the visiting Chicago Blackhawks snapped an 8-game losing skid Tuesday with a 4-3 win over the Calgary Flames. Tyler Toffoli, Noah Hannafin, Michael Backlund scored for the Flames, who saw their 4-game win streak come to an end. And a crippling blow to their playoff hopes. They're 2 points back of Winnipeg for the second wildcard berth in the West. Jets and Flames play tonight. I don't assume, well, I know you didn't watch any of it because you were at the Kings and the Oilers, and we're going to get to that. But I know for a fact that our good friend Rich Sutter ruffled some feathers here in Calgary with tearing a strip off the media. And fans, too. They were upset with what Rich had to say. And right off, I got off the air and Serena said, well, he was just defending his brother. She goes, it didn't look real good. He came across as grumpy and codgy, but he is grumpy. The Flames aren't playing well. His brother's under a lot of heat. Trust me, I get it. But I don't care whether you're a Sutterite or not, and I am. I planted my flag in this town. I'm a Sutterite. Not everybody is, but I pick a side and I stay there. But if the Flames miss the playoffs, there's nobody to blame but themselves, Darren, because if you can't beat the lowly Chicago Blackhawks, who had lost 8 in a row coming in, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. The good news is they go to Winnipeg tonight, and last night should be forgotten. But what's your take on the last 24 hours as it relates to the Flames, the Jets, and that before we move on?
Yeah, that's tough because when we looked at the schedule, that was one of those games, a team below you in the standings, that you circle as a winnable game, right? And the Flames need to win the winnable games. So it's not just about the win. I mean, it's about the wins and losses, but Winnipeg got a massive leg up by the Flames falling to a team that we'd all circled as being a win, right? So now there's even more importance on the head-to-head between these two teams, especially if you're a Flames fan.
Moving on, the Seattle Kraken, looking to boost their playoff fortunes in the NHL's Western Conference, defeated the host Vancouver Canucks 5-2 Tuesday night by scoring 4 unanswered goals after falling behind 2-0 in the first period. Yanni Gourde, Brandon Tanev, Jordan Eberle, Jaden Schwartz, and Matty Benier scored for the Kraken. And Reed Johnson watches us every day from Seattle, and he says, a lot of Flames talk on there. Well, yeah, we're not in Seattle. We're in Calgary. So there's that. Florida beat Buffalo 2-1, and again, this is why I say I'm ready for the weekend come Friday. I'm ready for the weekend because I'm tired of talking to people or listening to people, and I can just turn my phone off because it's not job-related, because I saw the Florida Panthers beat Buffalo 2-1 in a massive game last night in Sunrise that took them. They went into the night out of a playoff spot. They left the night in the first wild card spot, the Florida Panthers. And I saw some guy on Twitter that I follow, a Panther fan, Darren, said, 1 month ago, my Twitter timeline was filled with fire Paul Maurice. Now it's give him an extension. We can clinch on Saturday. Do you see where it's exhausting listening to fans in some media? I just would rather not listen to anybody.
I know. It's tough. But, I mean, that's why we play the games. And, you know, it's going to come right down to the wire. You know, we could wake up again in another 24 to 48 hours, and it could be right back where it was yesterday. They could be out of the playoff spot. But you're right. Like, this is what's fun about hockey, is it's never the same. And you never know until you're mathematically eliminated. You always have a chance. So there's no point in, if you're a fan, jumping off the bandwagon now, even if it's nerve-wracking and you don't want to go through the stress, don't leave the bandwagon because there's still a chance.
Everybody's here that I wanted to talk to this morning as I checked the comment section, so just stop the presses for a second. Number one, Jason in Red Deer regarding the Flames game says the Hawks won because they are a team that has nothing to lose. Always works that way. I don't care. The Flames got nothing to lose either, okay? So it's not excuse time. And I know you're a Flames fan, but you should be more upset at the Flames than anything because you don't lose to Chicago when your season's on the line. Randy from Winnipeg says Jonathan Taves on his farewell tour, easy Hall of Famer. And I wanted to mention that too. It was the watching him in warm up and then during the game, people were saying this is the last time we're going to see him in Calgary. It was just like a show of respect. And then with a minute to go and the Flames net empty, who's out taking critical draws for the Chicago Blackhawks? Jonathan Toews. Man, he's a great one. But Wayne in Victoria, BC is watching. And Darren, you can help with this. But Wayne, too, I had a call from a football buddy of mine in Mississippi. And he's just this morning. And he's coming up to go on an Alaskan cruise off the coast of Vancouver in May. And he said, Rod, he's one of those guys that talks like that in Mississippi. He goes, Rod, should I go out to Vancouver Island on the one day I got in Vancouver? Or should I just stay in Vancouver on that one day? And I said, honestly, I think you should stay in Vancouver. There's enough to see and do there. God knows there's enough because you'd spend half the day on your ferry out there and half the day on the ferry back, and it doesn't look really any different than what's in the lower mainland. So just spend the day. He's going with his daughter. It was a birthday present from his daughter to him. Let's just call him Cooper. So I say stay in Vancouver. Don't waste a day going to Vancouver Island if you only have one day. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you stay in Vancouver. There's more than enough to do in Vancouver.
Okay, thank you.
Way more than enough. Yeah, stay in Vancouver.
Well, that was easy.
If you got 2 days,
you're welcome,
go
Cooper.
to the island.
Right. RP Show travel advice now. We're now Expedia. Your Toronto Maple Leafs beat Columbus 4-2, and you witnessed the Edmonton Oilers winning at LA 3-1. As the co-host of this show, what are your thoughts on those games?
Yeah, the Leafs beating Columbus. Look, I watched a little bit of that on TV, and that is what it is. The Leafs, again, I consider their games now. They're just tune-up games for the playoffs. They know who they're meeting. It's just about staying healthy. And, yeah, winning the games you're supposed to win like that, good for confidence. But the Edmonton-LA game was awesome. I know it was essentially a 1-0 game until late in that hockey game, but these are two teams, man, that there's a lot of hate building between them. And it started, obviously, last year in the playoffs. There's that history. But they don't like each other. And I think that is awesome. So I am, like, crossing my fingers, hoping neither of them catch and stay ahead of the Vegas Golden Knights because I want Edmonton and LA to play in the first round of the playoffs. Look, LA did a great job containing the Stars, and they're going to still find a way on the score sheet, power play stuff. But McDavid didn't do a lot. Draisaitl didn't do a lot. They were pretty good that way. But the thing I noticed about Edmonton, watching them in person that I never picked up on TV, is they are very underrated defensively, and they are suffocating in the neutral zone. LA could not bring the puck cleanly through the middle of the ice last night at all. They were really well structured, Edmonton was. They were strong in that play. And then they jump on you on the turnovers in the neutral zone. It reminds me of, old Minnesota Wild, or really the New Jersey Devils when they were winning Stanley Cups, and they were just so good with that trap. It's kind of what the Oilers are doing now, and I think they're more ready now for the playoffs than they were a year ago.
Robin Brownlee coming up from OilersNation.com in hour 2 to talk more about what I believe will be Canada's best bet to win a Stanley Cup this year, and that's coming up as our poll question here. By the way, regarding my advice to my guy Cooper Campbell down there in Jackson, Mississippi, don't go to Vancouver Island if you only have a day. Don, our Navy friend, who I know has spent time out there, a lot of time out there in the Navy, he says, stay in Vancouver. It'll take you all day to get there. From Kevin the Medium, he says, Granville Island in Vancouver is worth a day visit. Sure, but you don't have to get on a ferry to get there. So I'm glad that I did not screw up at least that advice to my football buddy from Mississippi. The poll question today, by the way, for Key Auto Group is this. I was going to go with the easy one, who wins tonight, Flames or Jets, but we have fans all across this fine country and all across the National Hockey League watching. So the question is this, which is Canada's best bet to win the Stanley Cup? The Edmonton Oilers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Winnipeg Jets, or the Calgary Flames, because one of those two teams are going to get in. The poll question daily for Key Auto Group. They have the largest selection of quality new and pre-owned vehicles in the Parkland area. Cars, trucks, SUVs, your journey begins at keyautogroup.ca. Our audience can tear that apart, amongst themselves, because I'm going to move on. Well, that'll be a theme throughout the show. To point 2, Yusei Kikuchi allowed 1 run in 3 hits in 5 innings, combining with 4 relievers on a 4-hitter as the Toronto Blue Jays stopped a 3-game slide by beating the host Kansas City Royals 4-1. And I'll add that the NL East Division leading Atlanta Braves were 4-1 winners over the St. Louis Cardinals. People are writing in about Simon Fraser University. Canada's lone NCAA football program has announced they're discontinuing their football program. We're going to talk about that next segment as Darren is so deep into the Canada West football scene, which they're not a part of, but it still affects Canada West for sure. That's next. But there's a lot of people came here today to talk some Dub Hub. Igor Sidorov's second goal of the game, scored at 5:19 of overtime, gave the Saskatoon Blades a 4-3 victory on Tuesday over the Regina Pats, cutting the Pats' lead in the first-round series to 2-1. Connor Bedard had a goal and 2 assists for the Pats. You saw a guy, the photo that I posted, Blackhawks jersey with Bedard 98 last night at the Saddledome. So they think they're hoping they're going to get him. Moose Jaw beat Lethbridge 5-2 in the playoffs. Winnipeg beat Medicine Hat 7-2 in the playoffs. Kamloops beat Vancouver 5-0. A lot of talk in the Grey Eagle about, for whatever reason, that Kamloops-Vancouver series. Tri-City at Prince George, Tri won 4-2, and Seattle over Kelowna 4-1. The people that were at the game last night in the Brandt Center in Regina were complaining about the officiating. They were texting me. They said, oh, the refs, the WHL want the Blades to win. I'm like, I can tell you right now, they don't. So just stop. They want Connor Bedard to run that train all the way into the Memmer. Right, Darren? They do. If you're the Dub.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody's engaged in that series because Connor Bedard's playing. The second the Pats lose out, the non-diehards, of which there are more of those than diehards, are going to tune out. So they want the Pats to win the series. So I'm sorry, I didn't see the game. I listened to a lot of it. I don't believe that there's any skullduggery going on. Your thoughts on this now being a series? It is by far the most talked about series in the WHL.
Yeah, it is. And you know, it always was, you know, tight because you had, you know, it feels like the Pats, you know, pulling a rabbit out of the hat when, you know, when the game is tilted a little bit, but it's not really that way either because they're so skilled on the high end. You know, it's going to be fun. We hope it goes the distance. And you're right. It's a good thing. Doesn't matter if it's only because of Connor Bedard. You got eyeballs on the product. So enjoy it, take advantage of it, and see how many people you can secure into buying their round 2 season or their round 2 tickets or their season tickets for next year. But, you know, the Western Hockey League is absolutely loving it, and they want to milk it as much as they can.
I'm not saying they're favoring the Pats to win either, by the way. What I'm saying is they're not favoring the Blades to win. And FYI, no league favors a team to win. And I know that sounds hypocritical coming from the guy who claimed several conspiracies against the Saskatchewan Roughriders over the years, but more than anything, that was just for show. Folks, don't miss comedian, actress, producer, and podcaster Whitney Cummings live at the Grey Eagle Event Center Tuesday, April 25th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.ca. In the association last night, the Raptors won 129-100 over the Charlotte Hornets in Charlotte, and the Atlanta Hawks, here come the Hawks, beat the Bulls 123-105. We don't have time for it here, but we'll push this to the next segment. Are you following any of the Nick Nurse story? The coach of the Raptors has kind of got one foot out the door. Have you been following any of that?
Not really. Not a lot. Just a little hearing the rumblings. And I wonder how much truth there is to it and really how much he's thinking about the next move.
Well, again, you've been traveling. You haven't been seeing the highlights. But the head coach of the Raptors, who won their only championship, has said, hey, I'm not thinking about my future. I'm thinking about the rest of this season, which I firmly believe that he is. But he goes, when we get to the offseason, we'll get to the offseason. We'll see. I've been here 10 years, and 10 years is a long time. Maybe it's time for a change. So he's a very, kind of guy. He's a universe kind of guy. He's the kind of guy that you feel that he would say, when my time's up, my time's up. See ya. And there will be no talking him into staying. Anyways, we will be right back. We're halfway through the Quick Six, and we're live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. On the way, Mark Stiles and Robin Brownlee. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, channel 924 on TELUS. Also, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and your Southern Home of Sports and Talk, WQEE, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
The beautiful Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. We are the gateway to the foothills, and we are Calgary's entertainment destination. I love this. This is what I wanted. I knew as we welcome, in a moment, Darren Moose Dupont, and he's in Palm Springs. There's questions from you for you in the chat, Moose, if you don't mind. I feel like dropping some names here, too. It's been a long morning, but being with you, Moose, and our gang, the Rod Squad, is perked me up. Somebody wrote in and asked if you would. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to tell you that I feel really good right now because I've been hand-delivered. I feel like you. I've been hand-delivered my Dunkin' coffee, and the morning is turning around nicely, so I hope yours is too.
Let's remind people, I don't get hand-delivered my coffee. I have to go get it. The similarity here is you're saying that you're drinking Dunkin', which is my favorite U.S. coffee, yeah. But somebody wrote in and said, Moose, can you go check out the new American Hockey League arena there in Palm Springs and Coachella Valley? So please do that. And if you have time, look up my good friend, Grant Fuhr. I was doing an event with Furzy a few years ago. He's in Palm Springs, and I said, what are you doing now, Grant? And he goes, I'm running a golf course in Palm Springs. I said, ever have any interest? Oh, he goes, life's great. I'm running a golf course in Palm Springs. I said, any interest to get back into coaching? Because he coached with the Arizona Coyotes and the Prince George Cougars. And he goes, life's great, and I'm running a golf course in Palm Springs. I'm like, hey, I get it. 902-518-3033, the number to reach us, and several folks have written in. Randy out in Cochrane He's a TV guy who's vowed to come down here and check out the show. Clearly, today isn't that day, right, Randy? I saw him just last night at the Sandal Dome. But he says, the Edmonton Oilers have the best chance for a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup because the Leafs will play much stiffer competition in their conference. The Bruins seem to be the team of destiny. Rose in Edmonton, actually St. Albert, she writes in and she says, just remind everyone who's complaining about the Flames, there will be no Flames news soon. Oh. They're loving what's unfolding up there in the City of Champions, which incidentally, it's always going to be the City of Champions to me. Chris in Heidelberg, Ontario writes in and he says, quite the intense game last night. Kitchener Rangers take a 3-0 series lead after a 6-3 win over Shane Wright in the top-ranked Windsor Spitfires. So thank you, Chris, for the OHL update. So for those that are watching out in Eastern Canada, whether it be the Maritimes, the Q through Quebec, on Game Plus TV or Ontario, write us with your major, junior, and junior A playoff scores. We all are inclusive here, but we are a Western Canadian-based show, and I make no apologies for that, except for when I'm in Florida. Moose, I'm going to stop for a second before I get to the Masters and some Tiger Woods stuff. The folks want your opinion on this. Simon Fraser University has discontinued its football program. School president Joy Johnson announced on Tuesday SFU was slated to play this season in the Lone Star Conference. However, in February, the conference announced it would not be renewing its football affiliation with SFU past 2023. They posted a 1-9 record last year. But in March, the football team promoted Eric Taylor to offensive coordinator and hired Samuel Richard as its special teams coordinator. Joy Johnson, the school president, said, quote, given SFU's long and proud football history, this is a difficult decision and not one taken lightly. I want to thank all the student athletes and coaches, past and present, for being part of that history. Listen, I've worked in youth sports. I'm alum, so I have an opinion too, but you actively work on the Canada West football scene, and they want to know your opinion on SFU, who's not a Canada West team, but is still a Canadian University team, on this news.
But they were a Canada West team at one point, and, you know, almost 60 years of history at the football program. It is disappointing. I understand if you don't have a place to play, and financials can be such a massive part of it. And not just about, are you making the school money? Are you not? Do you have a good booster program? But with the Lone Star Conference, you know, not welcoming them back, where else do you play? And what does your season look like? Do you scrap together a season full of non-conference games just to have games together? And then what does the cost look like and things like that? So I understand that. I've read this two different ways. One, where, you know, they're not going to play for the 2023 season. I've heard, you know, and then I read the release from the school that says they're closing the football program, and it sounds more long-term. I just hope that it's not. If it's one season, okay, if they're going to take a break here, I hope they start looking at other alternatives to have the football program back. I know there's not a big track record of NCAA success, but they were, and they used the slogan, Canada's NCAA team, which I think is cool. So I hope they explore it again moving forward, or at the very least, I hope they even open the door to coming back and playing youth sports football in Canada, because there is a history, a tradition at the school, and I think it would be sad to lose that for good.
There's a full story up at rodpedersen.com with quotes from the CFL, from the head of Football Canada, Jim Mullen. So there's more info there. You know, I'm not up to my eyeballs in this, but I will say this as a guy that's, again, gone to Canadian University, covered Canadian University, broadcasted it. If this is strictly a financial decision, which I think it is, as I said to you on the phone this morning, if they start running universities in Canada as businesses, then the rest of the sports programs better watch out. Because in America, huge money makers, the athletic programs for schools. In Canada, huge money pits. They don't make any money for the universities at all, anywhere in Canada. This doesn't surprise me one bit. It sucks for the players, for the fans, for the school, for sure. They didn't want to do this. To me, this just obviously reeks of a business money decision. And if any other way to try and slice it is a joke. Kevin, the medium, says the SFU, who's, by the way, an original Vancouver guy, he says the SFU decision has such a long history, in association with the CFL. I feel it's short-sighted. Carlos in Indianapolis says no Canadian conference wants SFU. But they play 4 downs. They play American rules. Their field's American. It's not about that. Those players are going to have to go play. Have to go transfer schools, obviously, if they want to play. So I'm going to move on from there. Yeah. The people have a lot of thoughts on this, and that's fine. I can't literally catch up. I apologize, Moose. John Ohm is going to... John, go for a walk. He's writing in all caps, Jets tonight, Jets tonight, Jets tonight. John.
How about that?
Chill. He's been that way since Monday.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, this is a playoff game tonight. For you Flames fans, this might be your playoff. And you understand over in Winnipeg, don't get too hyped up, John. Like literally do something, have a nap, whatever. Because I got all geeked up for the Blue Jays game on Saturday. It's 2-0, 2 pitches in various hockey games. I'm like, I shaved my legs for this? But I do feel the Flames, if they win tonight in Winnipeg, could come back. This would tie them with Winnipeg for the final playoff spot, and they could surpass them. That's the very frustrating thing for Flames fans, is they sit there and they know their team's better than what it is. And I go back to Rich Sutter ruffling feathers with tearing a strip off the media yesterday on this show. But then I think maybe the media was right. Did they look past Chicago? It kind of looked that way. But again, unofficial Sutter right here, right now, the way they're looking at it is, if you're Daryl, the media is calling out Nazem Kadri last night for his multiple turnovers in the game, which probably cost them the game. A couple of weeks ago, Dallas is here. Daryl benches Kadri in the third period, and that's national news. Well, why do you think Daryl benched him? For reasons like that. But no, we can't do that because we're paying him all this money. So then you let him play, and he cost the team the game. Darren, what would you do?
It's a tough spot to be in because, you need to run your team your way, but you also need to scrap together points. And sometimes when you're trying to win at all costs, it's the cost of doing what's better for the team long term, which is maybe to sit Kadri down, let him watch a game from the press box, let him see what he's been doing a little bit, and maybe just rest, reflect, and get back to playing good hockey. But it's a tough spot to be in. Daryl doesn't care. He's going to do what he needs to do and what he thinks is best for this team. Look, they won a game they didn't think they would. And they lost the game they should have won in the last 6 games. So if you call that a wash, you stay positive. It still comes down to this head-to-head meeting, right? And the Flames do have a favorable schedule, a nicer schedule than the Jets do down the stretch. So tonight's game puts you right back in it, and you can forget about last night's loss to Chicago. But that's a lot riding on one game tonight.
Well, this is must win, literally.
It is.
If the Flames don't win it, they're done.
I think so.
Jen at the Four Seasons writes in and she says, that was a great interview with Rich Sutter yesterday. I thought there was going to be some F-bombs in there. LOL. And by and large, because you're a Sutter, you have to understand something. We had a Sutter on our staff with the Pats, Sean Sutter. That's Brian's boy. And Hunsey said, he goes, the sun shines on the Sutters every day. So they can say pretty much whatever they want, and not get in a lot of trouble. But a lot of people said, Rich came across as real cranky yesterday. Well, people just think it's fun and games. This is like a video game. It's their life, But the thing is, if you were that upset with what the media is saying, players, go out and prove them wrong. And they didn't do that. So I guess my point, it's hot in this town, Moose. It's hot. And I don't know if when it's officially over, what the attention will go to. The rest of the Stanley Cup playoffs, I don't know. I guess we'll find out if they don't make it. 902-518-3033, the number to text us. We got a new viewer, Brian, in Beausejour, Manitoba. He writes and he says, good morning, gents. Suffering through a spring-winter storm here in southern Manitoba. Ugh. Now that Key Auto Group is a new sponsor, should we now have the key point of the RP show? What say you? Keep up the great work, guys. Always listening. Signed, Brian and Beausejour. I like it. The key point of the day.
I like it.
That's pretty good.
For Key Auto
Good.
Group.
That should be in our overtime segment now daily.
What's the key point of the day? Well, they already have the poll for Key Auto Group. I might point that out. And the poll, what do you keep looking at to your left? What do you keep looking at?
That's where I've got you.
Okay. Gotcha. The poll question today for Key Auto Group, who is Canada's best hope for a Stanley Cup? Running away with it 60%. The Edmonton Oilers. 26% say the Toronto Maple Leafs. 8% say the Winnipeg Jets. And 6% say the Calgary Flames. Is Mark Stiles here? Give us a yell. Stilesy? Stick around here, Moose. He should be here, but I don't see him. So hang on. I'll let you know whether he is. Is our guest here, Rod? With the way this day's going, I'm not a bit surprised if he doesn't show up on time. We'll be right back to Grey Eagle Resort and Casino after this brief pause on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, and your southern home of sports and talk WQEE. The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Gorgeous morning, a little cooler than I'd like, but here we are in the foothills. Beautiful Sutina Nation, Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. And he made it. The voice of the Calgary Hitmen. What'd you say, 1997 to 2006? Mark Stiles joins us here.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know what? You spend too much time in Florida,
Why?
Peterson. I'll tell you why. Because it is a beautiful morning in Calgary, and it's not that cold, and it felt like spring when I drove over to do your show today. So let's go with a beautiful spring morning.
Stop it. Minus 16 Celsius with a wind chill. Is that beautiful to you?
Are you back in Saskatchewan or are you in Calgary this morning?
You are from Fort McMurray.
Well, I'm originally from the East. I'm a Maritimer. You're sitting across from a Maritimer.
Okay.
It still goes back at least every 12 months generally. I go back often.
Tell me about that.
Well, that's where I grew up.
But where?
New Brunswick. I call it the Red Deer of New Brunswick. Small town guy. Sussex, the home of Mike Eagles. He's
okay.
Iggs is the hockey player from Sussex for sure. A couple years older than me, but I know Mike well. Anyway, grew and it's right between St. John, Moncton, Fredericton. Throw a dart, and so if I go back to Sussex, New Brunswick, my hometown, I can fly to Fredericton, Moncton, St. John because it's in the middle of all three, and it works out well. But yes, I spent a few years in Fort McMurray. Had a blast kicking off my broadcasting career. Doing the Oil Barons up there. That led me to Calgary, 97. Geez, that seems like a long time ago, huh? Where I first would have met you when you were calling Pat's games, the fall of 97. And did that for 8 seasons, I guess, before Brad Curl took over and did a magnificent job. But my Fort McMurray years led me to Calgary, and I've been here for 25 years and loving every second of it.
And we should mention you hosted Flames broadcasts.
Yeah, on pay-per-view. Before Sportsnet is what they are now, on Rogers, where, there's 17 channels like TSN. A lot of teams did it. Ottawa did it. The Oilers did it. Canucks did it. Flames did it. Yeah, so I hosted the television broadcast 4 years probably. On Flames pay-per-view, and it was at the time and there will be people watching this or listening going, oh yeah, I remember pay-per-view with the Oilers, I remember pay-per-view with the Canucks.
I do.
Because it lasted a while before the regionals, i.e. Sportsnet, could get all 82 games on TV. And if they only could get 70 games on TV or 65, the NHL teams were filling the gap with pay-per-view. And it worked. And then all of a sudden, it worked for a long time. But it makes more sense where we are in 2023, where every game is just on the network.
So I just, in the way of that, wanted to introduce you folks to Mark Stiles, our guest here today, who's now running M3 Sports. What's the tagline? Sports sponsorship?
Yeah. Maybe let's come up with a tagline today.
I was just looking at your business card. No, what you have is fine. I just couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah, no, the website would be m3sports.net, Calgary.
Yeah.
So it's a sponsorship sales platform, Rod, and thanks for the opportunity to do a shameless plug. But 4 clients, all in sports, and it's the company's job to sell advertising for all 4 and help with marketing as well. It's growing, and it keeps me awake at night, and I'm pretty long in the tooth to be starting a new company, M3 Sports, but so far so good.
So let's jump right into it. The poll question today for Key Auto Group, and by the way, it's truck month at Key Chevrolet Buick GMC. Get 3.49% financing up to 72 months on the 2023 Silverado 1500. Conditions apply. Go to keychev.com for more details. The poll question today is, whom is Canada's best chance at a Stanley Cup? Oilers, Leafs, Flames, Jets?
Oilers. Yeah. Oilers, well, Flames. Well, I'm sure we'll get to that here in the next little bit.
Yeah.
But here's what I can't wait for. So I answered your question, the Oilers.
Yep.
I think round one in the Eastern Conference, Rod, I got to tell you, I think it's going to be sensational because there's so many good teams in the East. There's a couple of them that aren't going to be around after the first 10 days.
Sure.
And the Leafs, depending on who they draw, they're great. They're having a fabulous season again. They are, and they're deep, and they seem to have most of the boxes checked. But whoever they draw in round one, like last year, Tampa Bay, it's going to be a mythical. So I'm real excited about round one in the Eastern Conference in particular. But your question was, out of those teams, which one do I think has a chance to go in the deepest? It's the guys 3 hours north of Grey Eagle Casino. I like their addition at the deadline. I mean, what do I know? But I think he's really solidified that blue line. I think the Oilers have got a shot.
Robin Brownlee is going to be with us an hour or two from OilersNation.com, and he's covered the Oilers so well for so long. I'll save the Oilers questions for him per se, but I know you probably prefer not to talk about the Flames because it's not the most. Colin Patterson came in here on Monday, and he was just praying the Flames would have won the night before, and they did. So it was easy for Patter.
Yeah. And
right.
Not easy for anyone to sit down here today, I guess is what you're getting at, talking about the Flames.
And I'll get to that.
Yeah.
Arlen Bruce III is watching today, two-time Grey Cup champion, future Hall of Famer, I hope. He says, New Brunswick has the best lobster. And I don't even like lobster. LOL.
Well,
that's
listen,
from AB.
Thank you. And tell them to go to the Alma Lobster Shop. It's a fishing village right on the Bay of Fundy. It's...
He's actually in Vancouver now, Arlen Bruce III, but he would have been out there for that touchdown Atlantic, which you've been long gone from the Maritimes.
We can go, we can have that conversation because nothing would make a Maritimer transplanted in Calgary happier than having the CFL in Atlantic Canada. So, I mean, nothing. It'd be brilliant on 100 levels, but
you said you're long in the tooth? You're young compared to this story.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's spot on. It refuses to go away, but I think you and I will see the day, and the CFL will see the day where it happens. And it's got to be like the Saskatchewan model.
There's the key point of the day for Key Auto Group, everybody.
It's got to be a little bit like Saskatchewan, which no one knows better than you. That everybody, if they play out of Halifax, people from Moncton, Charlottetown, St. John, it's got to be a regional thing.
Okay, so for our Maritimers, and we don't cater to them enough because we are out there on Eastlink, Cable, Rogers. We don't. Hey, I would love to, but I don't have enough people out here like yourself. But I was there for Touchdown Atlantic in 2019, Argos and Alouettes. It was awesome, and the CFL Alumni Association brought me out there to host events. That's a great job, right? As you know.
That's a tough gig for you.
Yeah, so as I go to leave, this won't shock you. They're like, take this lobster home with you, take it. I'm like, how? I'm flying back. No, in this case.
Was it cooked or?
It was a vacuum sealed thing.
Cooked lobster, okay.
Yeah. It was like at home on the farm/ranch. Take this roast beef with you. Take it. I don't want it. No, take this lobster. And then they're offended.
Yeah,
when you don't.
Right.
I didn't take it.
Oh, jeez.
I had enough carry on.
Are you invited back?
I don't think I am.
No. Yeah, you should have took the lobster with you.
That's a clear maritime thing, obviously.
Well, it's seafood, right? So
right.
It's seasonal, and everybody just thinks, in short, it's seasonal. There's different seasons where you get a fresh lobster and you don't get a fresh lobster. State of Maine, same thing. Don't get me started on lobster. You're making me hungry. Does the Grey Eagle have a good seafood
Thursday night, brother.
Okay,
Thursday,
there
right?
you go.
Okay, we'll be right back, and more of whatever this is when we return live on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube, and iHeartRadio, and your Southern Home of Sports and Talk, WQEE, the Key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino fancy.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta slam. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fire. Big time. Big time. Big time. Big time.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, the RP show continues. And by the way, everybody, if you love the timeless music of the Eagles, then you can't afford to miss Hotel California, the original Eagles tribute on Thursday, April 27th. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.ca. A sports update before we go any further. There are 3 games in the NHL tonight, including a huge matchup in Winnipeg where the Jets host the Flames. Jets hold on to the final playoff spot by 2 points over Calgary. Also tonight, the red-hot Edmonton Oilers carry a 5-game win streak into Anaheim. Hockey phenom Connor Bedard showed once again why he's the NHL's projected #1 pick in this NHL draft this summer. The Pat star, who has 11 points in 3 playoff games, scored on a great individual effort last night. So after splitting the D, though his team ultimately lost in overtime 4-3 to the Saskatoon Blades, cutting the Pat series lead to 2-1. It's the series everybody's talking about. I thought just in the WHL, and apparently it's all across Canada, because this is in the Canadian Press Wire. This sports update is brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. Enter to win a movie night out at Landmark Cinemas. For movie lovers, all you have to do is text MOVIES, all caps, to 902-518-3033 to be entered. Winners are picked every Friday to enjoy a movie night out this weekend. All right, bringing it back in here with Mark Stiles of M3 Sports, the longtime voice of the Hitmen and host of Flames games. And I got so many stories I could get to with you. Maybe we'll push that to next hour. But let's say this, after the Flames 5-4 loss to Chicago last night, if they don't make the playoffs, they don't deserve to make the playoffs. And I'm a Sutter guy, but you can't explain what happened last night or defend it.
Listen, I worked for the Flames for a long time. Still cheer for them, obviously. And I'm a Sutter. I like all the Sutters. Like
exactly.
I've been blessed. I've got to know all of them pretty much, and including the older brother Gary.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, in short, it was a microcosm of their season. A one-goal game, can't find a way. A game they clearly need to win. And we all know the story. Chicago's lost 8 or 9 in a row.
8. Yeah,
8 in a row. Can't win anywhere, and they come into hey, listen, a game they have to win, they don't. But what's so great about what's going on now, they won 4 in a row to put themselves in a spot. Everybody had them written off, Rod, as you know, 3 weeks ago. So all of a sudden, they're relevant again. They're 2 points back if they win tonight, and they have to win tonight. And when you
this is it.
This is it. Matter of fact, that's right. If they lose tonight, this is it. Anything's possible, but they need to win tonight. But if they win tonight, who's ever sitting on this couch with you tomorrow, it's going to be a real different story. It's going to be, oh my gosh, the Flames are tied for the last playoff spot, 3 to go. So, but that was not good last night. A game they needed to win, they didn't. But again, they win tonight. They're tied for the last playoff spot in the final week.
Even I'm getting tied into the roller coaster of emotions, and I don't really care. I'm going to tell you this, full disclosure, if the Flames miss the playoffs, I won't miss 1 second sleep. But that's not that I don't like them. It's just I've learned there's bigger things in life than how a hockey team does. Well, sorry to say. Or football team, which reminds me, football royalty on that couch tomorrow, Mark Mueller of the Stampeders.
Oh, great.
I'm not sure he's really going to care, but your guy, Perry Shockey, has asked me if I'm going to go to the Hitmen game tonight. They got Red Deer here. It's not going to help the Hitmen crowd that the Flames are playing a must-win game in Winnipeg.
It's not going to, that's not going to be good at the gate.
No.
Well, hopefully it's a Western Hockey League playoff game. It should be, but you're right. It's not going to help the Hitmen in that way. And by the way, Stampeder loyalty. I'm doing this show today, and I canceled a meeting with Tony Spallettini. I was supposed to be a Tony.
Everybody's meeting Spalombos.
Yeah, so I'm supposed to be a Tony today, and I said, hey, I'm doing the Rod Pedersen Show.
And he said, by all means, do it.
He did. He's like, he goes, I've been on the Rod Pedersen. He goes, I love Rod. I'm not doing this for your benefit.
Oh, good.
So he was like, oh, my gosh. He goes, do the show. Come see me next week. So anyway, and Tony's he's involved with everything, but Stampeder alumni being a huge focus of his.
You said you and I need to go to lunch.
No,
let's go to No, you said it.
You said it.
Let's go to Spalombos.
I probably did say it. We will go to Spalombos. We'll see Slim.
Okay, one of the most crushing defeats in the my broadcasting career.
Oh, I've got a couple too.
Game 7, 2001, quarterfinal. Pats Hitmen, Pavel Brendel.
Yeah, I remember.
I was on one side of the mic. You were on the other side of the mic.
Oh, no.
So we'll tell some dud stories.
That was one of your most crushing losses?
Yes!
You called a lot. Really? Yeah.
Well, I've had a million, man.
Yeah, I know. I mean, hey, for me, as would be 1999 Memorial Cup in overtime. 7-6. 67.
We're going to compare our emotional sports baggage next hour. And we'll look at tonight's NHL games and whatever you folks would like to discuss when we return after this brief pause on Game Plus and WQEE Radio.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Easy snacking all around. something everyone can love.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You seem not surprised the Pats are up 2-0 on Saskatoon.
No, I watched a week ago Friday in Saskatoon. 15,000 people in the building. And we were all sitting there, Connor Bedard is making plays in front of these guys. And these guys are going, did you see that? Did you see that? He put that puck right through that seam. Maybe he made that play. Well, that's Connor Bedard, right?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to your favorite daytime sports talk show, coming at you live on the Game Plus television network across all 10 Canadian provinces, 31 U.S. states. Also streaming and on the radio, WQEE Atlanta. Let's bring in now our next guest, Mark Stiles, because he's already been here 20 minutes, and we've just scratched the surface, Stilesy, on what we want to get to.
Oh,
right?
We're warming up.
Yeah. Longtime voice of the Calgary Hitmen and host of Calgary Flames television broadcasts.
Pay-per-view, qualify that.
Just say host of game. And what's your hometown in New Brunswick? What is it?
Sussex, New Brunswick.
Sussex, New Brunswick. You would think that because...
Very center of the Maritimes, if you really want to know. So, yeah.
Is that right? Well, the Prime Minister lives on Sussex Drive, so you would think
true.
I would remember that.
That's right. So
right?
now you will. That's all you have to, just go with that.
Yeah, so listen, this is like your longest pregame show for the Winnipeg Jets and Calgary Flames tonight. Our viewership, I can see it in Winnipeg, just skyrocketing. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs. Come early. They're opening tonight, especially for the Calgary Flames, because this is literally, I cannot overstate or understate this, Mark Stiles, how I want to say this. If the Flames lose, they're done. That's it.
Mathematically, not true.
Yeah, but
reality, listen, if you were to survey 100 people in the Grey Eagle Casino or in your audience today, 95 of them are going to say what you said is right. If they lose tonight, it's over. However, they win tonight,
they're tied.
They're tied. Why are we not talking about Nashville, too?
Because Nashville has no business even being in this race.
Well, they're so banged up. Oh, my gosh.
Name 5 Nashville Predators.
Yeah, well, so I can name 5 that aren't playing. Because they have some good players that aren't playing. But Rod, seriously, we're talking Jets Flames for 1,000 obvious reasons because, as you said, it's tonight. But it's huge. But Nashville, they won last night too.
Yep.
So listen, I know they deserve to be part of the conversation because they're still there. Like somehow or other, the Flames are still there, having won 4 out of 5 despite losing last night.
You mentioned taking a poll, and 95% of people would say they would be out. They've been saying they're out since January, and they were wrong. But here now we're down to the short strokes. It's been a day, and I don't usually have stressful days. Today's been a stressful day.
It's Wednesday, man.
I know.
Sun's out.
David in Winnipeg writes in and says, "Good morning, RP. It's been a while since I've tuned in, work-related, but here I am. Have you touched on the Winnipeg Ice and them being 1 game away from advancing? Hashtag go Jets, go." No, we haven't talked about the Winnipeg Ice because they're going to win in Medicine Hat, and that's nothing for you to celebrate because this was probably the most, what do you call it, outclassed, not evenly matched series of all.
Correct.
In the conference. So, no, we're not talking about the Winnipeg Ice just yet. We've been talking about the Jets. Is that not enough for you? Because this guy writes in, Winnipeg Jets Collector. That's his name. He goes, holy ads.
Hey.
That's what we do, bro.
It pays the bills.
Do you see how people are just annoying me a little bit?
Well, you're having a day, okay? And I kind of know what's going on behind the curtain as to why you're having a bit of a day. And I'm with you. I get why you
get it.
I get
Thank
it.
you.
You get a little bit of stress. But you know what? The show goes on.
Isn't that the thing? John Ohm in Winnipeg. He says the not-so-skinny lady hasn't sang yet. Anything can happen. So what are you saying? You're a Jets fan. Man, you've been vibrating since Monday, John Ohm. So, I got a Colorado fan down here. Like, the Avalanche are literally not talked about. They clinched last night. Nathan McKinnon had his first 100-point season.
Don't you think they're dangerous? Yeah, that's another Rod. That's another Rod down
You'll never
there.
forget his name.
We got you. There's 2 Rod. I'm surrounded by Rods, but he's an Avalanche fan. I think they're a dangerous team.
Colorado, well, for sure.
For sure they are. I mean, how could they? They're a dangerous team. Just look at the lineup. Look at the history, and they're in like they should be.
I'm just looking at the playoff matchups right now. Do you ever look at the Score app where they have the playoff matchup? I love it.
Yeah.
And it changes.
So as of today, who's playing who?
That's what I'm doing. Hang on. It automatically came up as MLB. That's what I was looking into.
Jays won yesterday. I haven't watched the game.
Finally.
I love Jays in 30, by the way.
Don't tell me you're a squirrel, too, like me. Do we have room for another squirrel, Clark?
Bingo!
I think I just proved I am.
By the way, Tony is watching in Estevan, the Energy City, and he says, are you talking about the Estevan Ice? Did you see the April Fool's joke on the weekend that the Winnipeg Ice were moving to Estevan?
I didn't see that.
I'm like, that's hardly even a joke, guys. That might have actually happened.
Hey, what's going on with that arena in Winnipeg for the Ice?
That's why they're talking about them moving. But
so my point is still nothing?
Nothing. No, nothing. Old Dub guy here, as I mentioned earlier.
Oh, and I should have wore my Western Hockey League logo today.
I would love to have some of that gear.
Oh, stop.
I would wear it.
I know you'd wear it, but I'm confident you have some somewhere.
Somewhere.
Exactly.
Colorado would play Seattle in round 1. And here's an interesting stat. Like, Stilesy, I'm trying to, in a way, unplug if I can, because we're just overloaded with all these stats and numbers. But this is the one that stood out to me. They've surpassed the Oakland Seals for the most win jump from year 1 to year 2. Yeah. Seattle. And that's something to be.
I'm very surprised.
So am I.
Yeah. I don't think anyone saw that growth. And at one point, if 2 months ago, they're the top team. Like, everyone was chasing them. They've come back to the pack, still making the playoffs. That's a great story and a great market for the NHL.
Again, you've lived here a long time, far longer than me, although the people at the Saddle Dome last night were quite interested, the people that I was with, to learn that I did go to Mount Royal. My cousin Ethan was there. My friends Tammy.
Broadcast grad from Mount Royal?
I didn't graduate. Be specific. I went.
You went. You showed up.
I showed up.
Hey, I think it worked out okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
You probably still get invited to speak at alumni
Somebody
events,
told me, actually, that I was on their Wall of Fame. I should go over there and check and see.
Wall of Fame?
I should. It's only 5 minutes from here.
So they put non-graduates
Where
up
was
in the Wall
I?
of Fame?
Literally.
We were talking about the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Well, it's Kay. Thanks for getting me on track. not a lot of people could name 5 Seattle Kraken. Could you? Could you? Could you?
But, Rod, isn't that the beauty of them?
But I'm not done yet. I hear Flames fans complaining, we don't have a McDavid. We don't have a Draisaitl. And this is, in a lot of ways, hockey people. Like, we don't have a game breaker like that. I'm like, who does but Edmonton? Really?
Listen, no one will argue they have the best player in the world.
Edmonton.
Yeah, well, they do, don't they? I mean,
of course
they do. So, but they may have the best 2 players in the world. Like, Draisaitl's got 50 goals again. Yeah. So, So I think that you asked me at the very beginning of the show, out of all the Canadian teams that are going to get in, which one do I like the most? It's the Oilers.
Said who? Yeah, to go the furthest or the best chance to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that was your question, and the answer.
Of course, it's Edmonton.
Of course, what have they won? 5, 6 in a row again. They're playing. If they get goaltending, Chicago's proved it in the past. You can win a Stanley Cup with okay goaltending or average goaltending. But if they get decent goaltending, I think they're going to be hard to beat.
The Oilers have won 5 in a row. And coming up is our NHL top 5, bottom 5 for our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal. Jen at the Four Seasons, who incidentally is an Oilers fan. This surprises me that she would say this, but she said Toronto with Matthews and Marner. I guess she's talking about top-end talent.
The 2 guys.
No, they're not.
Yeah. Oh,
not this year, especially.
Not this year, especially, or last year. But yeah, but the Leafs are a great team. So can they get out of round 1?
But what we're seeing is just another proof that hockey is playoffs are a new season, and literally anything can happen. And we'll get to the dub playoffs in a moment because the Regina Pats were a minute away from going up 3-0 on Saskatoon last night, and it didn't happen. Saskatoon came back and won in overtime. But if Colorado lines up against Seattle in round 1, we're not saying that's a short series.
No, we're not. Yeah. No, it should be a good series. And my money would be on Colorado for a lot of reasons, but it should be a great series. Round 1 is so good in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Always is the best round.
Oh, always the best round, right? Then the Final 4. And listen, this is such a documented story. And for Flames fans who are clinging to hope tonight. Yeah. All you have to do is get in. When the Flames went in 04,
they're good enough.
They were the 7th seed. When the Kings won the Cup 10 years ago, they were the 7th or 8th seed. Punch your ticket, you got a chance.
Randy and Jordan, you were writing in. He says, I can't imagine the Leafs' top players feel confident about their goaltending. How many teams really do? Which, incidentally, I covered this an hour ago when Moose DuPont was here, but look at the Florida Panthers. Alex Lyon got the win in goal last night for Florida. Who?
You're right.
In a must-win game against the Buffalo Sabres. And now the Panthers are in a position to clinch a playoff berth on Saturday. And a month ago, they all wanted Paul Maurice fired. This is why I don't like to listen to fans. I'm sorry. It's too much on the ticker, the up and down. You know?
What happened to Florida this year? You're close to the situation.
They had to completely learn a whole new way to play under
Right.
Paul Maurice. And come December, it wasn't going well.
Oh, it wasn't going well
No, it
at
wasn't.
all?
I wrote them off.
Yeah,
Because I was at the games. They were well out of a playoff spot.
And now they're there.
They're in a playoff spot today. But come New Year, and nobody in Florida has really been able to answer this question for me. What changed from December to like February, where they've been one of the hottest teams in the NHL since the All-Star break or even January 1?
It goes back into what we just talked about. A hot team that comes into the playoffs, like Florida potentially, could be dangerous.
They've beaten Boston, and I was at the game. I was at the.
So how do we gauge Boston? The best team in the race. There's only one way. If they win the Stanley
How they do
Cup,
in the playoffs.
How they do in the playoffs, right? I mean, this is a 60-win team, which is phenomenal.
Yep.
And the only gauge is, do they win a Stanley
Nobody's
Cup?
going to. Who won the President's Trophy last year?
Right, or the year before.
Who did?
Help me. But that's,
Florida.
But Florida by 4 points.
Sure.
And round 1, they're done to Tampa Bay.
2.
So,
They beat Washington in round 1.
They did beat Washington in round 1. But they're done early. And they were the best regular season team.
The difference here, Rod, this isn't Florida Panthers television, although I know we have a lot of folks in Florida watching because they tell me, but last year they were so good. They
really?
could withstand an injury for a while to Barkov. or Ekblad or some of those guys. This year leading up to Christmas, those guys were out a lot and they were losing. And I'm like, you're not good enough. You lost the depth. You've lost Weegar and Huberdeau and Mason Marchment, so I wrote them off.
You've watched Huberdeau a lot.
Yeah. He's a different player here.
Yeah, why?
I think he should be listed on the injury sheet as playing with a broken heart. Oh. Every night.
Love Florida.
How about that?
Well, if he's on the injured list with a broken heart, put it together and get it together.
That's not a criticism. I get it.
I hear great things about the guy.
He's a great player, and he was on the World Juniors when I was calling the games back in 2012. He's a great player, but he's not the same player
yet.
He's just not right now, man. Hello.
Well, yeah, listen.
He got 4 games left.
He was a star, right?
There's your Maritime just came out.
Oh, the R, yeah.
You and Peter Marr. Did you ever get together and eat lobster, you and Pete?
I ate lobster with Pete in Boston once, actually.
I'm sure you did, yeah.
And, matter of fact, I need to have a coffee with Peter. I haven't seen him in probably
Peter Marr. We'll bring you guys both on here.
Oh, you want Peter on? You don't need me. You need Peter.
I've had you both on. He's been on. But I like that radio commercial. You've heard it. I take care of my yard. How do you guys say it? Yard? How do you say it?
You know what?
Say it your Maritime way.
When I first came to Calgary, before it was the Fan 960, it was 66 CFR. And who used to tease me relentlessly was Perry Barasan. Every time I'd see Perry, he's like, say it, Mark, say 66 CFR. And I know, and I'm trying to say it properly, but
Calgary Flames Radio, 66 CFR.
Yeah, well, you remember.
Of course, man.
My God, forever. Yeah.
I was living here. Hockey phenom Connor Bedard showed once again why he's the top prospect for the summer's NHL draft. Highlight reel goal last night. He's got 11 points in 3 playoff games, but his Pats lost to the Saskatoon Blades last night, 4-3 in overtime to cut the series lead to 2-1. You were heavily asking me about Connor Bedard just before we went to air here.
Well, I think as a hockey fan, and I know you're behind the curtain with Connor and his family. So, and you said really nice things when we were not on the air. Just for the record, Rod said really nice things about Connor and his family. And that seems to be the word on the street. So, good family, good kid. Yeah, and a phenomenal player. I know. Generational, as they say. He put 17,000 in the Scotiabank Saddle Dome 6 weeks ago.
And dazzled them. Doesn't disappoint.
And the first 2 periods might have been a little disappointing just because everybody's waiting for that aha moment. But he provided it. He didn't disappoint. And that's a lot of pressure. When you've got that type of crowd expecting the aha moment.
And people don't understand that.
They don't understand that. And they don't understand why they showed up on a Saturday or a Tuesday and he didn't have a point. Because they expect it every time.
Right.
It's called being human.
Well, I got a friend by the name of Mike McCullough who played at St. Francis Xavier. He's a Hall of Fame Rough Rider, and he bought a ticket to go watch the Pats play at home. And he goes, how come Bedard hasn't dangled 3 guys and scored every shift?
Yeah, right.
That's the expectation.
Yeah. You know what drives me nuts? And this is going to sound very Calgary-like, but it's very on topic with Connor. Are Edmonton Oilers fans. Because, they're having a fabulous year. But if they lose 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4, the whole world's falling apart. And I know season ticket holders up there that are like, oh, my God, we've lost 2 in a row. It's
a little much.
It's a little
in
much.
both places.
Yeah.
Both places.
Yeah. Look at the big picture. You got the best 2 players on the planet, arguably, and you could have a very deep playoff run.
You've now seen and listened to, folks, a man that can talk about a variety of things, and we're going to continue that when we come back. But I would love to bring you all in. 902-518-3033 as the text line, or on the streaming chat, you can write us there. Robin Brownlee coming up from OilersNation.com to talk about the Oil. It's a big hockey day here on the RP Show, on the Game Plus Television Network, iHeartRadio, your favorite podcast platform, and WQEE, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902 518 3033.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
RP Show continues live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, and I get a chuckle out of it. Now, where I'm going in this town, people are saying, or people writing in, saying, too much Flames talk, which is odd that you would get it in Calgary. But they want to hear about the Oilers. And last night, Leon Draisaitl and the Edmonton Oilers power play continued to operate at peak efficiency. The Oilers scored twice with the man advantage, including Neon Leon's go-ahead goal with 7:20 to go as the Oilers vaulted into second place in the Pacific Division with a 3-1 victory over the Los Angeles Kings. The win not only put the Oilers 1 point up on the Kings, it extended their winning streak to 5 and gave them 100 points for the second straight season. We got a lot of viewers in the Edmonton region. I said to the guys, we got to get Robin Brownlee on. And all this Oilers media from OilersNation.com, longtime writer of the Edmonton Sun. Robin joins us today to talk about the... How you doing, Robin?
I'm excellent, Rod. How about you, man?
Oh, good. I bet you the mood of that town reflects the fortunes of the hockey team. And if that's the case, people must be pretty happy.
Well, I tell you, I was listening to you earlier, and you were talking about how fan opinion can sway and sway in a hurry. People here are very passionate about this team, and we've gone, it seems like, in the course of a month or two from what's wrong with Ken Holland? When is he going to do something to make this team better? To geez, can we win the Stanley Cup this time around? And I tell you what, the way this team is rolling right now, I tell you, they look awful tough to beat. The two games they just won against Los Angeles are the kind of games this team used to lose with regularity. We know about their talent. We know that now, with the roster the way it's shaped, they're bigger and stronger than they used to be. They can play a tougher game, a playoff game. But I tell you what, the games they won against LA were tough. Stick with it. Be disciplined. Wait for your breaks. People call it low event hockey, and they've beaten a really good hockey club twice playing that kind of hockey. So people are feeling pretty good right now.
I got a lot to unpack with you, Robin. I appreciate the time. So, number one, big picture it for me. Where was the moment that it happened for Jay Woodcroft? Because I was with the hockey guys in the Saddle Dome the other night. They loved Dave Tippett, and they said, hey, it just didn't work for Tip. They love Dave. But they said, whatever Woodcroft's doing, man, they're responding. Where was that moment when you realized this is the right guy for this team?
I tell you what, he came in and he didn't try and reinvent the wheel. And when things started going well for him, as they did, you look at his points percentage when he came in last season, it was worth bragging about. And he just kept it cool. He didn't become suddenly the smartest guy in the room. He left it to the players. He worked underneath. He worked quietly in the background. He found a way to, the way I see it, Rod, to get the best out of every person. And you can't do that just by treating everybody the same. You got your McDavid and your Draisaitl, and now your Evander Kane, Zach Hyman. You need those guys. You need those guys on your side. And to me, he was a collaborator. He was a, fellas, here's the way I think we need to play. What do you think? He's still the coach. He's still the boss. But there wasn't that separation there where he wanted to be the smartest guy in the room all the time.
Yeah, in the recovery world, we call that empowering your people.
Yeah.
Right? And that's clearly what he did. But I will say, just funniest thing, Robin, when did you first start covering the Oilers?
1989.
Okay, so you've seen it all pretty much. Do you remember the best snap show incident of a coach or a GM? Because, listen, down here you see the Sutters are getting fired up. Rich Sutter did on this show yesterday defending his brother. Remember a couple of years ago, Ken Holland at his desk, I think it was a Zoom call, but he snapped his pen. He's like, I don't have a crystal ball. Ken Holland, the heat gets to these guys, Robin. It gets to them.
Well, they do. And you know what? I mean, we've seen plenty of that, up here. Kevin Lowe, Kevin as a player, as a guy, when he was the coach briefly in the GM, this is a guy who was the player he was and is in the Hall of Fame because of the passion he played with. Well, I tell you what, I saw in more press boxes around the National Hockey League than I can remember, and it wouldn't be on tape, but I saw phones flying and chairs flying and this was real deal stuff. And, Kevin got so, he got so PO'd one day at practice out at West Edmonton Mall that he took a stick and smashed it against the door frame. Well, the stick came back and cut his face. So now he had to explain to everybody how he had the big cut on his lip. Kevin was a real passionate guy. You know what? Mac T here with the same thing. He had a few situations where he let people know what he was thinking, and it wasn't necessarily real positive or real PG that you could repeat to the kids. So you know what? It happens, and you'll find that in every rink if you're around long enough.
Yeah, fair. I love the stories, and to be honest, I really think, because I spent half my time in Florida, Paul Maurice is just loving it. Nobody knows who he is. He's got the team rolling. They're in a playoff spot today. There's just such a difference between the NHL markets in Canada and the States, and you know that because you've been in both, a lot.
Well, I tell you what, I think it's fun that the Sunrise used to be the place where you'd go if you wanted to wander around and go down to Sawgrass Mills and do a little bit of shopping, because nobody was doing anything to do with hockey. You know, the Panthers weren't very good. Now I'm talking past the early rat stages with the Flying Rats when Doug McLean was down there and they were having some fun. There was a long time when it was just like, why are we in the seniors community? And is there anything to do other than the mull? Because really, hockey wasn't that big a deal, and there were lots of good seats available no matter when you went. But you know what? It's nice to see it turned around there. People will come out if the game is priced right and if you're competitive, and they are both in Florida now.
I love it. Thanks for the comment on that, Robin. I'm enjoying this. But again, in Canada, the barns are full, win or lose. I'm looking around in the Saddledome the last couple of games going, it would be hard to convince anybody they're not doing something right here because you can't get another soul in this place, and they're not playing very well. But in Edmonton, which is why I brought you on, what are the orders at right now? Just tweaking, fine-tuning, on this 5-game win streak?
Yeah, you know what they need to do, I think, is just stay out of their own way and not overthink things. They are playing so well right now, and as a group, and I'm not in that room, and even the beat guys, they're not in the room enough to know for sure. I look at this team's record since Matthias Ekholm came at the deadline, and it's ridiculous. It's 14-2-1 or something. They got a player in Ekholm who's been around, but more than getting Ekholm, they also got Evan Bouchard. I know he was already there, but the Evan Bouchard we've seen since Ekholm has come in is a whole different animal. Everybody's playing to their capability. McDavid and Draisaitl are ridiculous. Look at their points totals, but look at Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. The call up here has been, what are the Oilers going to do? They need more depth. You can't just rely on the two guys. Well, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins needs a point to hit 100. Evander Kane, had he not missed so many games, his point total would be far more impressive. Zach Hyman, thank you, Toronto. I mean, holy cow. How good has he been? So you know what? And here's the other thing they've sorted out, Rod, and if you've been looking on from afar, you've seen this. Stuart Skinner has surpassed absolutely every expectation that the team had of him. And while you could argue that Jack Campbell, the guy who got the 5-year deal at $5 million per, has not met the expectations that were on him, he's battling and he's coming around. And right now they've got two guys who you look at and you go, you know what, these guys have enough goaltending. And you'll always look back there, even when Mike Smith was playing hot, because when he was hot he was good, but when he wasn't, he was bad. These guys are good enough to give these guys a chance. The defense is good enough. The team is big enough and tough enough now. And you got those horses up front and you let them run. And they seem to want to play for each other. I don't know if you saw the highlights the other day, Rod, but here in Edmonton on Saturday against Anaheim, there was a photo of Stuart Skinner coming out to embrace Jack Campbell after his shutout over the Ducks. Yeah, and it's the Ducks. We know they're terrible. But this was a we're in it together moment. And that's a good sign. You can talk about playing for the next guy, making sure you do it every night when things are tough, isn't done as easily as it's said. And I don't see a hole right now. I'm not saying they're going to roll through everybody, but man, they're good right now, Rod. They're really good right now.
Oh, yeah. And kudos to them, by the way. And Stuart Skinner, I thought, and I was right, he is from Edmonton. I mean, my gosh, Robin, that can't be easy. It can't be easy, but I'll ask you this. Who you starting in game 1 in goal?
Oh, it's Stuart Skinner. Skinner is your starter unless he gets out of bed and says, I can't walk. I can't play. Jack Campbell you give him marks for battling through some really tough times. Confidence is a huge thing with every goaltender, but especially with this guy, man, when he's down, he's like, what's that Charlie Brown character with the cloud over his head?
You put me on the spot. It is Charlie Brown. It's Charlie Brown. Pigpen. Yeah. Pigpen. Right.
And when he feels good, I tell you what, you can see it. He's obviously a very passionate guy. But no, it's Skinner. Skinner has been so good. He's going to be rested enough. Campbell's going to give him, I think, one more game off here, and he'll be ready to go. And hey, you know what the cool thing about Skinner is, Rod? I don't know if you know the whole story. Not only is he an Edmonton guy, in this day and age, he's one of 9 children. I mean, talk about a hockey family where mom and dad sat in the rink and watched him play and have followed his travels. And he's taken the long way to get here. I mean, not necessarily in time, but he's paid his dues to get here. And the fact that he's good right now and having some success, it's a great story. The only problem for Skinner is he needs a raise if he's going to keep buying all those tickets for family at home games.
Yeah, of course. But you know what? He's played in big games in the WHL. He's spent enough time in the American League. He's been groomed. So the Oilers should get some credit for not just throwing him right in there. This is the way it's supposed to go. So kudos to all of them. Robin, please plug your writings if you don't mind, because they're so great for our viewers.
Well, I'm still pecking away at Oilers Nation. I tell you what, that's Rod, as you probably know, that's a website I started with after the dailies finally said to me, "Go away and don't come back." That was 2007, so I think we're going on to 15 or 16 years here. You'll find me there, people, OilersNation.com, the Nation Network. Have a lot of fun writing for these guys, and there's a lot of good content there. Fella you know well, Jason Greger, also writes for them, and there's other people there as well. We have a lot of fun doing what we do, and it looks like we may have some more fun this season if the Oilers can find a way to go deep again.
Sure, yes. Well, it looks like you're having fun, and that is the main thing. I love reading it, and I always love chatting hockey with you, Robin. Thanks for the time. We'll do it down the road.
No worries, Rod. Thanks, man. See ya.
Robin Brownlee joining us from the City of Champions. It will always be to me. It's just me and you the rest of the way. I'm going to turn it over to the audience. Got some good comments coming up here. They want some stories. I got a million. So we'll be right back on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube, iHeartRadio, from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino on your southern home of Sports and Talk, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You're looking in live at the beautiful Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Gateway to the foothills. And before we, yes, you notice the robe. I always love what people must think if they just tuned in that are watching on television or streaming and they say the host is wearing a king's robe. What is this? And for our listeners in Noonan, Georgia, I'm wearing a robe. Just before our NHL top 5, bottom 5 for our friends at Bet Regal. There you go. You guys are going to want to kill me. Just ahead of the top 5, bottom 5. And don't worry about putting up the graphic for Key Auto Group. I'll tell you our daily poll question is for Key Auto Group. It's truck month at Key Chevrolet Buick GMC. Get 3.49% financing up to 72 months on the 2023 Silverado 1500. Conditions apply. Go to keychev.com for more details. Look at that, guys. That's fancy. Running away with it, it is not a surprise. The Edmonton Oilers have been voted Canada's best chance to win a Stanley Cup this spring. 60% of respondents saying the Oilers. And then I think it's like 29% say the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then split between the Jets and the Flames, who will meet tonight at Canada Life Center in Winnipeg. And if you're watching on Bell MTS Cable on Game Plus out there, we talked about it for virtually like the first 30 to 40 minutes of this show, tonight's game. And I'll just re-up. If you can't find the standings or haven't looked at them, if the Jets win tonight, the Flames are done. And don't talk to me about mathematics. It's over. For a variety of reasons. They will be emotionally spent, mathematically pretty much spent, they'll be done. But if they win in regulation, the two teams are tied, and the Flames will have 3 games left. The Jets 4. It's Mondo huge tonight in Winnipeg. Okay. This is it. The top 5, bottom 5 for our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal. We do it every week. The number 1 team in the National Hockey League is not a surprise. It's the Boston Bruins. They've got 5 games left to set the record for the best NHL team ever, and a mind-boggling plus 20 goal differential, plus 120 goal differential. Number 2, the Carolina Hurricanes, ringing up 50 wins last night under Brindy last night, 109 points. They are clearly the NHL's second-best team, and they're on a 3-game win streak. The number 3 team in the NHL right now, the Edmonton Oilers. We've had them in the top 5 the last 2 weeks at number 5. This week, they're the number 3 team. They've won 5 in a row. The Oil is a wagon. The 4th best team in the NHL right now is the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm not totally sure what they're doing, but they're resting guys and winning. The Leafs are all that smart. And the 5th best team, I'm going with the New York Rangers. Don't at me. They're a very talented team. Patrick Kane has been there. He's the tour guide for the New York Rangers. 7-2-1 in their past 10. Watch out. Bottom 5 in the NHL. The 28th team is the Arizona Coyotes. Right now, very cold, losers of 4 in a row. 29th team, the Montreal Canadiens. They've lost 4 in a row, and they might have quit. Their coach, Martin St. Louis, says, I hope not. Usually means they have. The 30th team is the Columbus Blue Jackets. They should be better, but they're not. The 31st team, the Chicago Blackhawks. I saw them last night. Who are these guys? and the worst team in the NHL. Nice job, Anaheim. They've lost 8 in a row. They're a very cold minus 122. I didn't think they'd catch Columbus to be the worst team, but here we are. Got that, Clark? Top 5, bottom 5.
How
for our
about that?
exclusive betting partner, BetRinger. Yes, sir. I'm going to leave the robe on for the rest of this segment, and I think that I'm going to push the comments. I'm going to do it now. I'll push the sports, update to next segment. It's been a stressful day. One thing beyond my control. One thing, a screw-up of my own. Sean in Vancouver writes in, he's watching on Game Plus. He says, serenity now, Rod, serenity now. LOL. You people, plus our guests today, are really helping me out with the mood. I hope we've done the same for you. Stilesy, Robin Brownlee, the Moose, our crew. Hi. There's a group of guys that come down here and have coffee every day and watch the show. How about that? Are they here today? Not today, but it's a real fun thing we got going on here. I don't understand this one, but Lyle Robichaud, he is watching in Toronto on Game Plus. He says, I'm no Carrie Fisher, but in regards to the poll, help us, Connor McDavid. You're our only hope. That is clearly an old Star Wars reference.
How about that?
I know Carrie Fisher is Princess Leia, but I don't get that reference. Hey, there you go. WQEE down in Metro Atlanta. Yes, King Rod has appeared with his NHL top 5, bottom 5. They were asking for press box stories. That's what we love. Robin Brownlee talking about Kevin Lowe throwing chairs and phone. I've seen a few. Been a part of a few. We got a couple minutes here. I mean, the first one that came to mind when I was thinking of press box snap shows was our general manager with the hockey team punched a hole in the door of the officials' booth. This is in the playoff game, of course, where emotions are running high, and that hole was left in that door for a couple of years. It was in our rink. I felt why that was left that way, I'm not sure. In BC Place Stadium in Vancouver, me, 20 seasons voice of the Rough Riders, we were right next door to the BC Lions coaches. Mike Roach, I'm shocked Lions assistant coach didn't punch his way right through the glass, which would have shattered on me. But I guess all-time press box skullduggery. They have a lot of fun with this, those that are really the diehard CFL fans. I always accuse the Lions of pumping crowd noise into the stadium, and I know that they did. They did. Because I saw them doing it the day before the game, playing crowd noise. I walked into the stadium. I'm walking up the street, West Georgia. I'm like, what the hell's going on in there? Bruce Springsteen playing? That's what I was thinking. Walk in, open the door. There's nobody in here. They weren't just practicing with crowd noise. They were playing it. And then the next day, we're in a playoff game against the Lions. And that particular game, there weren't that many people there. 25,000 maybe. And I'm looking around. Nobody's cheering. Why is it so loud? Fast forward 2007 West Final. Our head coach, his name was Ken Austin. His wife's name was Shelley. She broke into the sound. She broke into the press box, and she broke into the sound booth and tried to catch them in the act. The BC Lions people. She was removed from the press box by security. And Bob Ackles, the president of the Lions, goes, "What's wrong with you people from Saskatchewan? You're crazy." And I said, "Yes, we are." Jake Hughes writes in and he says, "I've been listening as I work. Thank you, Rod and team, for always having a great show. Insiders and insights you can't get anywhere else." Isn't that a fact? Overtime is next. Keep the comments coming. 902-518-3033. And the streaming feed as well, the chat there. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and WQEE, The King.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
902 518 3033. 902 518 3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902 518 3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Isn't it beautiful? Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Good crowd on hand on this, Wednesday morning here. I'll get to more of your comments in a moment. They love the CFL stories. I got hockey ones too, obviously. But regarding that BC crowd noise story, Colin in Ottawa says David Braley would never put up with such shenanigans, Rod. Well, he did, so... Jake, I'm sure he didn't even know what was going on. We used to go in there. Hey, listen, big respect, big fan of David Braley. Believe me, I am. I know there would not be a CFL without him. But where we stayed with the Rough Riders on the road was the Hyatt downtown Vancouver on Burrard. That's where David Braley stayed too, because he would come in from Hamilton. He didn't even live in Vancouver, and he owned the team. That's where I think local ownership is overrated, but come on, anybody that was there would know. Braley would be in the lobby in a chair. Did you want to go to your room? Maybe he owned the hotel too. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. He's like, everybody's Your dad sitting there having a nap at 2 in the afternoon on a Friday. The owner of the team that's going to play just down the street tomorrow. Did I read this one from Jake Hughes? He says, big claims. I was there, brah. I saw it with my own eyes. I'm not making anything up here. Stephen in North Dakota writes in and asks Kevin the medium, can you channel Mr. Braley and confirm or deny the addition of crowd noise? Ryan in New York. Ryan in Georgia. Another great show. Ready for football Thursday. That's Thursday. There will be no Good Friday edition of the RP show. Mark Mueller will be down here Thursday. A member of football's royal family. Mark Mueller, the grandson of Ron Lancaster, the current quarterbacks coach of the Calgary Stampeders. Ryan from Saratoga, New York, writes in. He says, happy hump day, Rod Squad. Enjoy whichever sports you watch tonight. From John he says, another great show. So our whole crew chiming in today, the Rod Squad. I appreciate each and every one of you. As you know, I don't need to say it, but I continue to say it because I mean it. Sports update, the visiting Toronto Blue Jays snapped a 3-game losing streak yesterday with a 4-1 win over the Kansas City Royals. Now, with righty Alec Manoah making his second start of the young season today against the Royals, the Blue Jays can focus on improving their 2-3 record. Righty Zach Greinke will be on the hill for the Royals, who have lost 4 of 5 to date. The Toronto Raptors, who improved to 40-39 with a 120-100 win at Charlotte on Tuesday night, will visit the Boston Celtics tonight. Celts are second place in the NBA's Eastern Conference. I see the Atlanta Braves. What do we got? They're at the Cardinals. They're playing right now at a matinee, and tonight the Atlanta Hawks home to the Washington Wizards. This sports update is for Landmark Cinemas. Enter to win a movie night out at Landmark Cinemas on us and Landmark Cinemas. It's for movie lovers only. All you have to do is text movies, all caps, to 902-518-3033 to be entered. Winners are picked every Friday to enjoy a movie night out this weekend. In theaters today. Was it today the 5th? Yeah.
Bingo!
Thank you, Clark, the Super Mario Brothers movie. While working underground to fix a water main, Brooklyn plumbers Mario and brother Luigi are transported down a mysterious pipe and wander into a magical new world. But when the brothers are separated, Mario embarks on an epic quest to find Luigi. Mario played by Chris Pratt. You know him from Jurassic World. And Luigi played by Charlie Day. In theaters tonight, the Super Mario Brothers movie. People writing in about their dub games. Well, I feel like we covered the dub pretty extensively today and well. Huge one in the Queen City, Regina home to Saskatoon. I mean, had the Pats pulled that one out last night, it would have been over, but they didn't. So the Blades have the chance to tie the series up 2-2. And as I said, going into Game 3, this series ain't over. And now here we are. Also tonight, Red Deer at Calgary. I'm taking a knee on this one. I will not be at the Hitmen Rebels tonight, but Shocks carry the flag. Moose Jaw Warrior at Lethbridge. They can complete the sweep. Winnipeg can complete the sweep. Prince George is at Tri tonight. Seattle's at Kelowna. In the SJ, Humboldt's at Flin Flon. And the Broncos lead that series 2-1. Battleford's is at Melfort. The Stars lead 3-0. I don't know what's going on here. Sounds like a pack of wild coyotes got loose in the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. You hear that? You don't? I should turn the mic up. Yeah. I'm turning up the guest mic. See if they keep yelling. Pretty early in the day to be partying, but good for them. I don't know why this story is making the rounds. 902-518-3033, the number to text us. Carter has written us from Calgary and says, hey, Rod, is there any more information about the BCHL leaving Hockey Canada? Any more information? They left 2 years ago, bro. I don't know why. Clark, you know that clip of me talking about the BCHL breaking off from Hockey Canada? Remember that one from 2 years ago? It's making the rounds again. Have you noticed? Have you seen?
So they broke off the SJHL, but they're actually talking about.
Okay, so they broke off from the Canadian Junior Hockey League, which we knew. We reported 2 years ago. There you go. They're gone. But Carter just came tiptoeing up here, which for a gentleman of his size is an impressive feat. And Clark saying they're thinking of leaving or applying to leave Hockey Canada. To be honest, I thought they were gone from Hockey Canada too. That was the impression that I got at the Centennial Cup last year. Interesting that this year's Centennial Cup is, we are on the eve of it almost, and it's in Portage, Manitoba. So what do I know? They left the Canadian Junior League 2 years ago, Carter, and it sounds like they're leaving Hockey Canada altogether. Let me do a little digging for you. Yeah, did you play in the MJ, did you not? I thought so. Okay, thank you to Mark Stiles, Robin Brownlee, our cast and crew and audience. It's been a day. We'll see you back here tomorrow for a Football Thursday with Mark Mueller, noon Eastern on Game Plus and WQEE.
Who has more fun than us?